Hello students, welcome to Recitals in Depth. Herein, we will cover the summits and organizations, August 2024 current affairs, topics in details. The broader themes which are going to be covered are as follows: refugees, global south, and international events. Greetings students, we will be covering the summits and organizations in today's section. This is the index from pages 98 to 102. We will be covering these topics in detail, and also in between I will be giving you practice questions and the previous year questions to follow up. India's policy on refugees. Why has this come to the light? What is the background? See, of late we have seen violent protest in Bangladesh. So in Bangladesh, there was a crisis and their Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina fled to India. Now, the India's policy on refugees has come into question. How is this happening? I will tell you a background on it. See, there are violent protests in Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina has come into India. Now, how did she come and where is she trying to go? Now, Sheikh Hasina is in India. Where does she want to go? United Kingdom. So, in India, she has come on a visa. So, she is staying here on a visa and she applied to UK that I am under danger in my country and I want to come to UK as a refugee or a political asylum seeker. Okay, so this is Sheikh Hasina's situation. This is the letter she sent to UK. Now, as you all know that UK has a very liberal policy for refugees, especially those who are politically affiliated. So what happened in this instance is there is a technical roadblock. What is a technical roadblock? That she has asked UK to give them refuge, okay? But what happened? This person was not in Bangladesh at that time. Sheikh Hasina is in India, as I've told you. But she should have been in Bangladesh to get the visa. So this is a technicality which UK puts in its policy, that if any person is fearing persecution in their home country, then they will get this. Now, technically Sheikh Hasina was in India on a visa. So it means UK saying you are a visitor in India at that time, then how can you apply? So this is a technical roadblock, though actually the whole world knows that she was under threat, her life was under threat. It was due to an emergency she landed in India. Now her visa in India expired. So now once your visa is expired in a country, you are an illegal immigrant. You become an illegal immigrant. So a person who is a foreign tourist now becomes an illegal immigrant. So this is the situation. Sheikh Hasina is not Indian, she is a Bangladeshi. Now she has come into India, she is on a visa, the visa is expired. So UK is not taking her, she wants to go to UK. What the whole situation is, that technically she cannot stay in India because the visa is expired until and unless we give her a refugee status. And this situation or this technicality, whatever this issue has happened due to technical issues, this has brought into question India's policy on refugees. So what is India's stand on refugees? So to do this, we will now be covering this topic in detail as to what are the legal issues. So what is the international convention which is guiding this? 1951 UN Convention on refugees. So this is what your international convention is. Also, this also has a protocol. Protocol basically means the enforceable rules. Rule of a convention are called protocol. Convention is the international agreement. When it is signed, it is called a convention. And the rules which govern this convention is called a protocol. Okay, so this is the convention. The rules made in this are protocols. And these define the refugees. So definition of refugee is here. So a refugee is defined under this convention and the protocol. How do they define? Anybody who is fearing persecution in their own country. Basically, I will tell you in simple words, persecution and all. Basically, they are fearing death. Okay, that the person is thinking, I will be killed because of my race, religion, or political ideas. So if any of the three are there, due to your race, religion, political idea, you are being killed in your country. If your community is being killed, then you can ask for refuge or you become a refugee. And India has not signed it. So India is not a signatory to this. So what are the laws in India which discuss this? Passport Act, Foreigner Act, and Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. Now, this is the overall situation. How has it come into the question? See, because Passport Act, Foreign Acts and the Citizenship Act, all of them will define Sheikh Hasina as an illegal immigrant. Now she is stuck in India. So it is a legal tussle in India also that she cannot remain here. We cannot send her back because we definitely know it will be a bad precedent on the global scale. And if you look at the past efforts, India has historically been very welcoming for refugees. India is welcoming to the refugees. Now the Citizenship Amendment Act has classified people on the basis of religion, and in the nearby countries, basically Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, we are not allowing Muslims because religious persecution of Muslims is less likely here. So this is the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now Sheikh Hasina will also fall in the Muslim category. So all of these are the legal interpretations. There are the international conventions, but we have not signed it. Okay. And the last thing is the past efforts. India has always welcomed. There are more than 3 lakh refugees. This is the official number. More than 3 lakh refugees are there, apart from the illegal immigrants. Now what happens in this is that we have Tibetans, Chakmas. Please tell me in the comments where are the Chakmas from. Okay. Another issue was United Nations had issued certificates to Rohingyas. This is the past issues which have also come up. Rohingyas got certificate from UNHCR that they are refugees. They entered India. India had not signed this convention, so they also became illegal immigrants. So these are the issues that an international body is recognizing them. You are giving them all the rights, but still you are recognizing them as illegal immigrants. So you are at the same time giving your resources which is illegal or extra legal, but at the same time you are not throwing them away. So this creates a confusion for us in the legal stand. So what is our policy? So also, apart from this, the state governments also gives them the permits. Now the work permits, etc., admission to schools, all of these things are provided by the state governments, but the recognition as a refugee is to be given by the central government. So if this situation is not there and the people are enjoying all the rights, they will never go back, or this kind of a situation will also come. They will say that we are educated in this country. I am studying in class 12th now. I am here from last 12 years. So all of these issues will be there. How can you suddenly throw a person? All of these things will also come into consideration. Finally, these laws are also not taking them as their own people. So this is the overall problem. So central government is behaving in a different manner, state governments are behaving in a different manner, and the international conventions are all not in sync. So this is the overall issue which has come up, and this comes up time and again. But this has also come up now in the case of Sheikh Hasina, which is a legal or a political head of a country. So this brings into question whether India should come up with a new policy or not. So definitely there is a need for a policy, and why this policy is not there? Because we have not signed this convention. So this convention is not signed because there were undemarcated borders earlier. So now we think that the time is apt. Most of the demarcation of the borders have been done, and India, for its future safety and better position as a global power, should come up with a policy. So based on this question, or we can see a 2016 question which was there in previous year UPSC. Community sometimes in the affair mentioned in the news. Consider the following. Where are the Kurds located? Please tell me in the comment section. Kurds are in Bangladesh, yes or no? Madhesis in Nepal, Rohingyas in Myanmar. Which of the following are correctly matched? Please tell me the correct answer in the comment section, and also tell me where are the Kurds from. Okay. Extradition of Sheikh Hasina. This issue has come up. It is very closely linked with the previous issue which we discussed. Now in extradition, what happens that if someone is found guilty, or we think that he has committed a crime, and the person has gone to another country. So Sheikh Hasina was in Bangladesh. Now she is in India. If Bangladesh thinks, or they have proof that she has committed a crime, or a court inquiry is going on, so they will say, to make sure that rule of law is there, you have to send her back. If you do not let us enforce rule of law in my country, Bangladesh is saying this, if you do not let me enforce rule of law in my country, it means you are going against my sovereignty. So basically you are not letting the law of the land work properly. This lady is charged with some serious crimes. You have to send her back. And also there is an extradition treaty signed between India and Bangladesh from 2013, very successfully going. It was actually signed by Sheikh Hasina and the current, the previous Indian government, but improved by the current government. So what happens now is that she is being asked to, if she is asked to come back, it will be a huge political embarrassment for India, because this is the person we improved the treaty with. We also caught many insurgents with this treaty, but now she herself is at the cusp of being returned. And if she is returned, what will be the result of all of this? We kept her with a visa. Initially we gave an emergency visa, then the visa is over, still she is in India, we are helping her to go out. But if even a request comes and we have to follow this treaty which was signed, then India will be having a diplomatic embarrassment at its front. So this is the whole issue, and it is very, very critical for us as we may want to become future diplomats, or also for current affairs. Now with this we have at stake the respect of our nation, because if we want to save somebody, or this person has been in good relations with India, she has helped us to give the insurgents back, she has respected the rights of minorities, then we have to protect her. And if we send her back, it will bring a bad reputation to country. Now what is this treaty with Bangladesh? In 2013 we signed the extradition treaty with Bangladesh. So if a person is charged, I am using these technical words, please be careful, charged, found guilty, or wanted for an extraditable offense. Extraditable means the offense should be extraditable. Extraditable means those offenses for which you have to send back a person. Now, if that falls into the category, how have they defined extraditable offenses? Extraditable means punishment is for the offense is 1 year imprisonment. So, if you have committed or charged with committing, found guilty or wanted in a case which can take you to jail for 1 year. If for 1 year you can be in a jail, then the crime will be extraditable. So, if anything has been done, you can go to jail for 1 year. Then Bangladesh requests that send this person back, you will have to send. Similarly, if India says send this person, they will also have to send. So, this is the treaty. Now, there is also the clause of dual criminality. So, what does dual criminality mean? Dual criminality means that this crime which has been done in Bangladesh should also be a crime in India. So, I am going to take a very sensitive thing here. For example, cow slaughter. Cow slaughter is a crime in India but not in Bangladesh. So, if that is done in Bangladesh, the person cannot send you back. Okay, because dual criminality law is also there. If the dual criminality is not satisfied, you cannot send this person. So, this is one thing. Next, what we have to know is that in 2016, this treaty was amended. In 2016, this treaty was amended. So, there are certain issues also in this case. I am not telling you the amendment at this point of time, but I will tell you when we come to the way forward how this amendment has complicated the matter, how this has brought an issue which can bring bad reputation. Now, issue in this case is that if it is of a political nature, if the person is a political or the charges are political in nature, then this all things are exempted. Political people have exemption, but this will not apply if you are charged with murder. If I am a political leader and I have committed a murder and I run to Bangladesh, then they will have to send me back. If I have a lot of explosives and I am thinking that I will blow up a certain place and I run to Bangladesh, but then also they will have to send back. But if they are in political reasons only, that defamation is there or some small cases are there, then you will not send back the person. So, political cases are an exemption, so which is falling as an issue in this case particularly. Now, we need to see what are the charges framed against her. Sheikh Hasina is accused of a murder, kidnapping, and genocide. So, for these cases, as I was telling you, these are not even under exemptions. What has happened here is that under this treaty, the 2016 amendment, which I told you, I will tell you later. Another thing which was added in 2016 was that if a person is charged with these serious crimes, then you don't even need to have these things. Simply you can request and they will have to send. You do not even require charge, guilty, wanted, nothing. See, even if there is a arrest warrant, then also the person will have to be sent. So, this is causing a lot of issues. However, still, what can we do in the way forward? Article 8 in the treaty, which is the good faith clause. Article 8, which is the good faith clause, which says that if we feel that these cases are filed not in good faith, simply to harass the person or to which will put a risk to the life of the person which is going, then also we may stop, because the proceedings are not done in good faith and are undermining justice. So if you look at the legal terms of the treaty, because we have also asked many times for people who are accused for murder, kidnapping, then if we say no for Sheikh Hasina, what will happen? Next time we will not get back any person. So this is also an issue. Another thing is, it is a treaty, and for violating a treaty, person can also go to the international courts. So all of these have again created a very diplomatically embarrassing situation for India. And if they ask, India may have to send back. Very high probability is there that we may have to send back if the Home Ministry or the Law Ministry says this. This is majorly because of this amendment in 2016, that the courts charging of the cases, persons found guilty, and this warrant is also not there. However, the overall situation may come in our favor if we use the Article 8. But the whole thing is, the whole situation will not be easy for India. Now we have the Global South Summit. This is actually known as the Voice of the Global South Summit, which is hosted by India. This is an initiative of India. Please remember this point very carefully. Also, the theme for this year is an empowered Global South for a sustainable future. An empowered Global South for a sustainable future. Before we do this whole analysis, we will first understand what is a Global South. This line which you are seeing on the world map, now this area is the Global South. All the area outside of this line is the Global North or the North. So this is also known as the Brandt line. This was given by Willy Brandt. Concept was given by Willy Brandt, who was the German chancellor. Chancellor is their head of state. Okay. So the Willy Brandt, German chancellor, gave this concept of the Global South, the North-South divide. Sometimes you must have heard of this debate, the North-South divide. These are countries which are having higher levels of human development. So this is North, which is having high HDI, Human Development Index. This is closely linked to income, but not always. There are a few exceptions, because income in this Arabian Peninsula is very high, those who are having oil, but still you will notice that they are under this. So this is having more to do with economy also, but human development also, so which means education is also there, and the political development. So this is not, I am not making it as a part of HDI, but just telling you, political development will also be there. So all of these issues have to be considered. So North is basically these countries as per the concept given by Willy Brandt. The North is more evolved in terms of the average education, average expectancy of life, average income, average political development, participation in democracy. All of these things are higher. You will note that even though Australia is in the south, it is not considered in the Global South. Global South is a concept. It is not the North-South geographical division which we know. So India has hosted this summit virtually. Virtually means it is online, and we will now see its overall analysis. Now in this year's summit, what has our Honorable Prime Minister announced? First is the Global Development Compact. So this is trying to create a fund and an agreement that the future development in the Global South will be based on humanitarian views or human values. Needy countries will not be burdened with debt. Why are they saying so? Another thing which we have mentioned is that it will be inspired by India's journey, India's growth story. Why? Because when China comes into the picture, it gives financial assistance. Now look at Sri Lanka, look at Pakistan, look at Bangladesh. What happened to them? Their stable countries are destroyed. Their economies are so crippled that they cannot even think of overcoming what China has done to them. Even though the people may realize, or they may realize later, but there has been a lot of damage done by China in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh and certain African countries. This is because of the debt trap policy. It means you give a country debt and it is an unsustainable debt. So the resources will be ultimately captured by China. So this is what is happening. You can say in a way to counter it, or just to show its leadership of the global south, India has brought out this. So it will, whenever there will be some funding of a project, it will be based on human values. Needy countries will not be burdened with debt. India will show its example, and there is also a fund of $2.5 million. So this is what you have for the facts. But what will also be provided? Capacity building, technology sharing, all of these things will also be covered. Technology sharing, capacity building, technology sharing, also trade for development. Trade will not be done in a manner that the other country is looted. There will be made efforts that this trade also helps the capacity of the country, and also project specific finance and grants will be provided to the country. Another thing which has been highlighted by the Prime Minister is the failure of the global institutions. He is saying that the global institutions which were made in the previous century, means so this period, the global institutions which have been made, you can say UN, WTO, IMF, the Prime Minister of India is saying that they are not able to keep up with the challenges of today. We need to develop new institutions. Which cater to the specific needs of these countries which are in the global south, which are needy, which have their communitarian values, which value human values. So these are the need of the hour as per the Prime Minister. Next up we have the digital public infrastructure. Digital public infrastructure means that, for example, we have our UPI, Wi-Fi connection, all of these. So India has created the digital public infrastructure in India. And India created its first ever repository when we were the G20 president. So with this, what has come up is the idea that we will have a social impact fund. Which will be of $25 million at the moment. Further expanded, this fund, Global Development Compact, will also be expanded later on. Both these funds will be expanded. So these digital public infrastructure will be promoted in countries of the global south, and India will be a helping hand for it. Now, what is India trying to establish by becoming a leader of the global south? So that is also a main point of concern for our discussion. India as a leader of the global south. In this we will discuss certain events which India have taken up to make sure that it takes up the leadership of the global south. During the G20 presidency, India made sure that it highlighted the issues of the global south, and when the vision of the world was given by India during the G20 summit, a special place was given to the global south, This is the first thing you have to say. So this can be very useful for your mains also. Another is the COVID virus. COVID-19, what happened? India also distributed medicines to over 100 countries which are located in the global south. Next, this is also linked to the G20, but African Union was taken in as a complete member in the G20 due to India's efforts. India took special efforts that African Union is admitted into the G20. Next up we have at the BRICS summit, the Prime Minister of India, Modi ji, made a special mention to the global south. As a shared history. What is this shared history? Against colonialism and apartheid. So he is repeatedly reminding the world about the global south and its issues. Another is the India UN Capacity Building Initiative. Another is Dakshin. Dakshin is the, listen to this point very carefully, you will know in a few minutes. Dakshin is the global center of excellence for the global south, a center of excellence for the global south. And one more point India has done is that it is also sending satellites. Satellites for the global south for weather monitoring. So these points, G20 presidency, it gave a vision. COVID, it gave them free vaccines. In African Union was brought out to the G20 because of India and its efforts. BRICS mein, the Prime Minister have always mentioned the global south and stated that they have a shared history for anti-colonial and anti-apartheid. So you can also say fighting against inequality. India UN Capacity Building Initiative to develop the capacity in the global south. Also the Dakshin, which is the center for excellence, and the satellites which we will help to monitor. You can also use these questions if you want to say that India is ready for a UN membership. You can also use this example if you want to show India's leadership. India has emerged on the global stage, or if you want to show India as a leader of the global south. So this much data will be useful in multiple answers for writing mains. Now, this is a practice question for you. Please write the answer in the comment section. With reference to the Voice of Global South Summit, which of the following are correct? It is an initiative launched by G20 countries aimed at involving countries of global south in capacity building process for climate change. Dakshin, launched by India at the recent Voice of Global Summit, is a global center for excellence for the global south countries. So what will be the answer? Please mention in the comment section. ILO to help eliminate child labor, forced work in cotton fields. So this is the issue. India has been suffering from the social disease of child labor, and we know Dr. Kailash Satyarthi, who also got the Nobel Prize for fighting against this evil. Now International Labour Organization is going to help us in the fight, and we will see this in detail now. Now the International Labour Organization and the Confederation of Indian Textile Industries. So ILO and plus the Confederation of Indian Textile Industry. Both of them will together fight child labor. This program will undertake 11 states, and what is their role? They will promote fundamental values and rights at the workplace. Okay, so this is what they will be doing. What are the values they will be promoting? Promoting associations, they will be discourage discrimination, and they will offer a safe workplace. And the people who are saved from such circumstances, mostly children, they will be provided education, financial inclusion, and skills. So this is what the whole program is centered around. Now UNICEF is the United Nations Children Fund. So this is the UNICEF. It is a UN agency. It is a part of the United Nations. Also, it is headquartered at New York. So what is the main objective? Development assistance and humanitarian aid to children. So this is the major role which UNICEF plays. Now this UNICEF, as you must be knowing, is based on voluntary contributions from government and individuals. It is not having its separate budget in the UN. The government is funding voluntarily, people can also fund. It tries to take up community development projects to help the children to overcome their special needs. So this is the role of the UNICEF here. Now ILO is the International Labour Organization. This was founded in 1919 by the League of Nations. So this makes it the oldest, the first and the oldest. So United Nations is coming around the World War II. So even in the before the World Wars, this was there. ILO is there in the first. So the League of Nations is already there. The United Nations has come after. So it is the first and oldest specialized agency. Of UN. Now what does it do? It will focus on the socio-economic rights. And how will it make sure that socio-economic rights are provided? By setting labor standards, international standards for labor, for occupation of labor. These are given by the ILO. So this is the work. Another major thing is that this has a tripartite governance model. That otherwise what happens is that there is a country and the international organization. In this what happens is that governments are also there. The trade workers or unions which are prominent are also there. Representative of labor, of workers, and also NGOs can also participate. So these three functionaries will be there in the ILO. It is a specialized agency. So this is a bit of difference which you have from rest of the bodies in ILO. International Conference of Agricultural Economists. It is 2024. It was held in August, from 2 to 7 August in New Delhi. The 32nd edition has been held, and this has happened in India after 65 years. So India has got this chance to host this event ICAE after 65 years. Now we will see what is the organization. Now the International Conference on Agricultural Economists is organized by International Association for Agricultural Economists. So economy is a very huge subject, and the agricultural part of it and how the agriculture economy will improve. This is very specific for India because we had the aim of doubling the farmers' income. So all of this becomes important. What is the role this is doing? It will gather experts from all around the world. It will bring in their best practices, their researches, discuss it and show it to the world. So it is a stage which is showcasing to the world how the agricultural economy can be improved. The purpose is to facilitate the exchange of knowledge, ideas and innovation. Also to fight the global challenges. Now what are the global challenges which we see? See, climate change is impacting the agricultural production and productivity. So agriculture, food security, rural development and sustainable agriculture is also an issue these days. If you cannot sustain agriculture, then your future generations will die of hunger. So hunger, nutrition, food security, agriculture, all of these things are linked together. Next we have the impact. What is the impact it is doing? So this will give you evidence-based insight and recommendation. Evidence-based means that these experts will be gathering there. They will conduct researches, case studies throughout the world and they will give you the best practices. So based on this, we can have solution to these problems and this has always created an impact. Now, economic principles to improve productivity, sustainability and food security. So it will not take any random approach. It will be wholly scientific and economic. So it will be profit based, technology based and result based. So this is our idea of this organization. Now it is held in different locations around the world each year to give more reach. So with this we have completed today's discussion. Thank you so much.